Alright, so yeah, that was a freaking sweet meditation, to say the least. I would say just over time, they've evolved, definitely. And I would say it's kind of an interesting concept I have attached to how I meditate. So obviously I do the Transcendental Meditation, but with that, I also remind myself, like, everything is the best that it can possibly be, and that is kind of just, I don't know, it's almost like a fact of physics, and let me explain. So as you get closer to the speed of light, time slows down. Once you get to the speed of light, time stops. And so kind of like going into that logic where, well, let me explain a little further. So since time stops at the speed of light, that means what we're doing right now and at any time means that it's happening at the same exact time that the Big Bang happened, like 14 billion years ago. And it's interesting because if time stops at the speed of light, then from the time that explosion hits our retina and we actually see light, that means that it's happening all at the same time. And time is an illusion at the end of the day. So kind of going into that logic where it's like everything's happening at the same time, you're living your best life at the same time that you might be going through some sort of struggle or whatever. And so that's how I kind of approach my meditations, is there's nothing to do and there's nothing to be. And so kind of remembering that and just constantly reminding myself and then going back to the mantra, it's pretty cool. It's definitely freeing, to say the least, because I feel like we're always in this rush to like change things and make them something, make them something else to make them better. And although that could be true, like we can always make things better, it's also realizing that it's already the best that it can be. So it's kind of this weird paradoxical contradiction where it's like you're trying to make everything the best that it can be, but you're realizing that it's already the best that it can be because it's all happening at the same time, and time is an illusion. So I think a good way to put this into action in a meditation is anytime you feel like this sense of like worry or just like I don't know how this is going to go. I need to make it the best that it can possibly be. Kind of take a step back and just remember that doing nothing is probably better than worrying about something. And then on the other side of things, if you're like, man, like, what's the point of anything? That's still doing something, like questioning that and kind of being like nihilistic in a sense, just questioning everything and why we're here. That's also, doing something. So I mean, like, going back to just doing nothing is probably better than questioning everything and, going down that downward spiral of woe is me, like, why am I here? What's the point of anything? Like, doing nothing in that instance would probably be the best thing to do. And so it's interesting, like they overlap, like bringing something or helping something to be the best that it can possibly be sometimes requires doing absolutely nothing. And then, it's almost like all I'm thinking of right now is like whenever you get injured, right? You scratch, you get a paper cut, break your leg, whatever, your body has a natural way of healing, but in order to, heal, you gotta put a bandage on for the paper cut, or you gotta put a cast on for a broken leg, and then just doing nothing and helping that thing to not do anything, it's gonna heal on its own. And so it's kind of the same logic with a lot of this, where it's like, if you're trying to fix everything all the time, then maybe the way to fix whatever you're trying to fix is to just take a step back and do nothing. So that's kind of how I approach my meditations. It's more so like, I'll stick to the mantra, but if I get overwhelmed at any point, I'll also remember doing nothing is probably gonna be better than worrying about something. That's kind of about like my whole thing. So enough of the meditation talk. We are going to get into some freaking back today. Oh man, I'm freaking excited. And I'm mainly excited because it is, I'd say it's just a little less common that we are taking 2 full days off. You know, I'm still hitting my cardio every day, but no lift for the entire weekend. So I don't have my lift Saturday, I don't have my lift Sunday. And so I get to Monday after 2 full days off, and I am just freaking ready. I am like hungry in a metaphorical sense to get a freaking lift in. Like I am ready to rock. Whereas, you know, if I kind of hit a lift on Saturday, just kind of like I don't know, just like an additional lift, then, you know, it's just one of those things it doesn't make me as hungry. And just because I only had 1 day off, and it's not like I had that much rest in the first place, you know, so my body doesn't really feel like I really need it at that point. And mentally, it's also another thing where, you know, you kind of have enough mental rest of just not thinking about the gym in general, and then you get to that point and you're like, all right, let's freaking make this happen. But anyways, that's where I'm coming from today, and that's how I'm feeling right now. So we're gonna go get this freaking oh my gosh, okay, they made us stop like right in the middle of the intersection. Yeah, so we're gonna go get this freaking back day in. I took a small glimpse at it, and it's not completely catered to my lower back injury. So we're gonna have to modify it a little bit, just in the sense that, like, for the pull downs, totally fine. Like anything that I'm just, you know, doing some type of pull down motion, I can do all day, every day. That is completely a-okay. Now for like a hip pull or like a row or a rack pull, no freaking way. There's no way that I could do something like that. So what I'm thinking today, we're gonna start off lat pull down, and then we're gonna go to some sort of chest supported row, and then we'll probably finish off with some sort of like single arm pullover action, because that's pretty much all I can do at this point. We might even throw a pull up in there somewhere, but for now, those 3 movements should be good. But we'll have to see how we feel once we get in there. But I'm trying to think of what else I could do, because any kind of movement where I need to stabilize with my core, I need to stabilize with my core for any back movement, but as minimal bracing of my core. That is what we're going for, because I'm trying not to interfere with the healing as much as possible. Like we just said, like you really gotta let your body heal. So I'm trying to find movements where I can kind of stabilize the healing and then just let it do its magic, you know? In addition to that, we're also icing it every night. I might even get a heat pad just to really help with the inflammation, because that freaking worked. That did wonders. And I felt like $1,000,000 last Friday, so about 3 days ago. And then I hit cardio at home on my treadmill, which is already at a little bit of an incline, and we put it at a pretty steep incline, and that was just no good. It totally exacerbated my back and is starting to ache all over again. Not nearly as much as when it first started to ache, because that was excruciating, to say the least. But yeah, I mean, I just jumped the gun too soon. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm feeling good. I can freaking do this. And then, I got a little more injured. So that being said, I got to take this healing process just a little more slowly. I just can't get ahead of myself. And that's what I did. I kind of let my ego get ahead of me. So anytime that I feel like any sort of pain, we're going to hold back just a little bit, because the priority right now is healing. It's not getting a freaking sweet back pump. As much fun as that sounds, that's not where our head is. That's not where we're going with this. So anyways, we're gonna go get this freaking sweet back pump in. This is the gym that I can't really, I can't be too, I just can't have people in the background. Like, they're super strict about that here. So if any of the angles look weird just because we're like filming it from kind of like an above angle, then just know that that's why we're doing it. But anyways, let's go get a freaking safe but sweet freaking back pump. All right, so I know that I said that I'd be getting some sort of footage from this back workout. Turns out I didn't, because it's freaking packed here. And two, there were people just waiting for machines, and there were just a ton of people around me, so it's kind of tough to get a good shot. It was just not in the cards for today. But what we will do is check out this freaking sick back pump together. Hopefully sick. I'm not too sure yet. I haven't even taken a peek, so I'm finding out how the back pump is going. Well, after you guys, because you're going to be seeing it before me, but I only get to see it in this tiny little vlog screen. But anyways, let's see how it freaking looks. Yeah, so this is by far the leanest. I think I was 226 at my last check-in, but this time around we're around like, well, I want to say, I haven't checked so I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, be somewhere in the ballpark of like 24 to 25, like somewhere around there. But yeah, that's a good freaking weight for me. After a refeed, the night of the refeed, I saw 228 on the scale. That was freaking nuts. I don't think I've ever been even close to that weight at this lean. So we're definitely heading in the right direction. You know, the peptides are doing their thing. Just keep eating, training, freaking having a good time. But anyways, I'll see y'all in the car. All right, so yeah, that's what I call a modified but very successful back workout. You know, we went pretty much off plan for the most part. Like, we started with lat pull down, which was a part of the plan, but other than that, we didn't do pretty much anything else, and for good reason, because the last movement that I was aiming to do was, or not aiming, but that I was programmed to do, was a freaking rack pull. So that is probably the worst thing that I could do for my back right now, just because that is extremely lower back intensive. So steer clear of that, but the whole workout was lat pull down, 8 sets, 9 reps, and then we supersetted that with like a single arm chest supported row. That was freaking sweet, because I wish I got this on camera, but there were just too many people. That gym was freaking packed. But I did kind of like a variation where I had one foot in front, and that was the opposite side of the rowing arm. So it was my left foot while I was rowing with my right, and I was doing, my right foot was kind of like further back, but I was doing like a whole rowing motion where I had my left to stabilize, and I was basically pulling and like turning in. So I had left foot, left arm stabilizing, and then on my right, I was just freaking twisting and really getting into that lateral bend part of the row. And that was freaking sweet. I felt like I was getting a lot more out of my lat activation, and that was just, that I'm definitely gonna be throwing that in for the future. I will say that much. But yeah, and then other than that, we finished off with like a single arm cable pullover, and we just went either side, just freaking until failure, like just really getting a lot of blood flow into the muscle, and that was a good finisher. We did like one set of shrugs, but you know, I didn't want to push it too much with stabilizing my lower back, so we only did the one set. But that being said, I am already sore, so I know that was a good friggin' workout. And it's not to say like that's the only indicator of a good workout. Like, I've had days where I don't feel sore at all right after a workout, but then the day after, it's just, I'm super freaking sore. So, you know, it's kind of a mixed bag when it comes to that. But yeah, so other than that, man, we're just eating a lot, training, just living a good freaking life. I did need to change it up for cardio today. So I started out, like, my holy grail for cardio is incline walk on the treadmill. I freaking love that. It's just a nice, easy, steady pace, and I can just play on my phone or meditate while I'm doing that and just kind of chill out. But I haven't been able to do the incline because it's too intense on my lower back. So today I did completely flat, and we went really slow, like to the point that I was like, this is barely cardio. And so we only got to like minute 17 before I had to tap out. Like, it was too much on my lower back. And I figured, I mean, I was only going like 2.4 speed. So I figured like it was just diminishing returns at that point. Like, I was just hurting myself more than just getting my cardio in. Like, it wasn't fun. But yeah, so we had to switch it up, and I went onto the seated bike, which was cool. Like, it was definitely an experience, but it wasn't like I was really freaking jazzed about that. Like, I still felt it in my lower back, so I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, that's just not the jam. Like, that just wasn't, I wasn't feeling it for that one. So we went to the upright bike, and man, upright bike, I don't know if y'all ever do that for cardio, but that was awesome. Like, I really friggin' enjoyed that. Very minimal tension on my lower back. Like, it literally was just to the point that I needed to keep myself upright. That was the only amount of tension that I felt in my lower back. But other than that, man, talk about a freaking quad pump, getting my heart rate up. That was just awesome. So I am definitely going to be pivoting to that for the foreseeable future for my cardio, because, man, I can't do, like, as weird as it sounds, I can't even walk without putting pressure on my lower back. Like, it's fine doing it during the day, like functionally when I need to go places, but it's another thing to do it for an extended period of time. So, you know, I'm gonna take, you know, that is kind of like an indicator. Like, I need to do more bike, and I need to, the only thing that I kind of have with that right now is just making sure that it doesn't hit my, it's like the, I don't even know. It's like the bone that's under your butt, but like in between your glutes. It's like, but like going into your hamstring. It's like that bone. I think it's called like your pubic bone or something like that. But that bone, I gotta watch out for, just because it's like, I mean, maybe I need like a pad or something on the bike, but I just notice like I'm completely upright the whole time and then pedaling. So it's just, it puts a little bit of pressure on that, and I can see, you know, those bones kind of getting a little sore. So, yeah, just one thing at a time. So I might get a pad for that. But other than that, I think what's been really cool about the meditations lately is I'm kind of like dispersing them through the day. And what I mean by that is I'm doing like, you know, I'm doing like my regular wake up, 20 minutes Transcendental Meditation, and then towards like afternoon, evening-ish, I'm doing like another 20 minutes for Transcendental Meditation. But then, other than that, I've actually been kind of doing some sort of meditation in the middle of an activity, and my activity of choice right now is cardio. So whenever I'm doing cardio, it's not like I'm super, like I'm not like, yeah, I gotta only breathe through my nose and that's it. You know, I'm not like super strict on the nose breathing with the cardio and doing the meditation at the same time. But what I do is I mainly focus on just doing nothing. Like I'll still, you know, repeat the mantra that I have personalized for myself, and I'll still do all of that, like inhale, do whatever mantra, exhale, do whatever mantra. But the main focus of it is to just focus on doing nothing. And what I mean by doing nothing is, like, we kind of, or at least for me, like they call it, I think in psychology, the default mode network. And that basically just means you form these habits of like thinking about things in the past or things in the future. And so you kind of, like, that's where, you know, that's the whole basis of distraction. And your mind is habituated to that. So you're kind of just naturally thinking of different things all the time. Or at least for me, that's kind of what happens. And so with doing nothing, it's like it kind of stops those thoughts in their tracks, and then you can just do nothing. Like it's kind of nice, because it's like you're taking a break from using so much brain power for all those distractions, you know, because even if I don't think I'm distracted, I mean, I'm still distracted thinking that I'm not distracted. You know, it's like, it's this weird mind game. So it's like the only time you're not distracted is when you're completely freaking present. And that looks different for different people. You know, you could be focusing on bodily sensations, you could be focusing on your breath. I don't know. You know, it's a whole, like, you could be focusing on the sounds around you. I mean, there's like a ton of different variations where you can be completely present. So that's kind of what I've been tinkering with lately, is just dispersing, you know, the meditation into different parts of my day. And it's been working out. Like I've been noticing that I'm a lot chiller like on a regular basis, you know, because I'm not really, like, I'm just not in a rush to fuss about anything. Like, I'm just not really like before, like I was thinking like all different sorts of thoughts. Like I was like, like I need to be doing this for my business, or I need to be, you know, trying out this peptide, or I need to try, like a lot of it was like business stuff. Like it was like, man, how can I optimize my business the most? But you know, like it began to be like this obsessive, just I need to be doing something all the time, and that's just not fun, you know, because it's like think of it like you're working out, right? Like you want to have one session, like one training session where you're just freaking all in. Like you're like, all right, today I'm hitting back, or I'm hitting push, or whatever, you know, like you have a concentrated session to do that. But like at any other time of the day, you're not like, all right, I got to be hitting back right now. You know, it just doesn't work like that. Like, and you know, it's just not fun to do it like that. And so it's the same thing with, you know, the just being present, you know, and the, or I should say, in like doing anything else. So like for me, it's like thinking about ways to optimize the business. All right, I should have just a session a day where I'm thinking and doing whatever is going to optimize the business the most, you know? So it kind of keeps everything a little more organized, and honestly, it spills into everything else, you know? Like if you're present with everything you're doing, you know, from business to school to training to whatever, you're going to be a lot more present with everything else. And you know, it's especially important because whatever you value, you know, like if you just want to spend more time with your dog or your cat or your child, or I guess, you know, those are like furry children in a sense, but you know what I'm getting at. Like the things you value most, man, being present for that, can't ever get it back. Like that, I'll say it that much. You know, you're not gonna look back in, you know, like on your deathbed thinking, oh man, yeah, I should have been thinking more about what to do for my business at, you know, every part of the day, even when I'm with my family, or even when, you know, I'm with my pet or whatever. You know, it's like you're not going to be thinking like that. Like like you're probably going to wish, man, I wish I spent more time and was present with my family a lot more, you know. So I don't know, that's kind of what's been on my mind lately. And I gotta say, like, doing these meditation, like these active meditations, you could say, is like just doing something else and the meditation, you know, it's been helping a lot. And I will say, like, if you do, you know, end up doing like some sort of meditation in the middle of something, like I would suggest doing it something that's usually mindless. So like cardio is a great thing, because if I wasn't meditating during cardio, and it's not like I'm meditating the whole time, I'm only doing like 20 minutes, but if I wasn't doing that, then I would just be on my phone. You know, it's like it's things where you're like, you just kind of have like downtime during the day, and you're doing something. Like another one is like you're cooking, right? It's like you can like while you're making your stuff, just set a timer, do the mantra, and it's really calming. Like it's just kind of brings you back to being fully present. But anyways, that's about freaking it for today. That was a great back workout. Freaking enjoyed it, even though it's very very modified. Like it's going very off script, but you know, it's what's necessary, and I think my coach would agree with me if he knew about it too. So that being said, we got friggin' arms tomorrow, so I'm pumped about that. And yeah, have a great night, y'all. I'll see you for tomorrow.